Most people prep food, but they prep the wrong food. And if the UK hits a rough month, storms, shortages, price spikes, the very stuff you've stockpiled could be the reason you feel flat, foggy and useless when you need to be sharp. Because here's the uncomfortable bit. Some ingredients show up in everyday supermarket food here. Stuff you'll see in a Tesco shop, while other countries have taken a much stricter line on them. Today I'm not doing detox wellness, this is physical preparedness. Welcome back to Charlie Survival. Quick one, if you want UK specific preparedness that's actually practical, subscribe. And comment if you've got any long life storage right now, even if it's just a drawer of snacks. I want to see how many of us are in the same boat. Now, the title and thumbnail on this video are basically saying banned in Europe but eaten daily in the UK and US. What's going on? So here's what you're getting. I'll explain why those banned in Europe headlines are sometimes real, sometimes misleading, and how to think about it without panic. I'll give you 5 label rules that instantly clean up your stockpile even on a budget, and I'll show you how to build a 30-day calm pantry that fuels energy, not crashes it. And by the end I'll tell you exactly what I'd keep, what I'd ditch and what I'd swap, so you can be ready for disruption without living on Franken food. The big idea: survival food can be a trap. We spend money on gear, torches, water filters, power banks, first aid, but the most important piece of kit you own is your body. If your food makes you crash, you're not prepping, you're just storing future problems. And look, I'm not here to moralize food, I'm not perfect. This isn't never eat a sweet again. This is when things get stressful, when sleep is bad, when you're doing more physical work, when you're anxious. Your nutrition becomes a force multiplier, so the goal today is simple. Stockpile food that keeps you steady. Steady mood, steady energy, steady digestion. Because when your environment gets unstable, you need your internal environment stable. Now here's the trap. A lot of prep foods are designed for shelf life, not for performance. So let's fix that. Rule 1, the kitchen test. First rule, this is the fastest filter I know, the kitchen test. If you wouldn't realistically cook with that ingredient at home, it doesn't belong in your daily diet, and it definitely shouldn't be the backbone of your emergency pantry. So if the label looks like vegetable oils, emulsifiers, stabilizers, colors, flavorings, preservatives, that's not food storage, that's a chemistry set. To reframe that in a disruption, you don't need excitement, you need reliability. If I offered you a survival torch that worked brilliantly for 5 minutes, then died, you bin it. So why do we accept that behavior from food? And yes, you can store treat foods, but your core pantry should be boring, strong and simple. Which takes us to rule 2, the one that fixes 80% of this. Rule 2, the 5 ingredient rule. When you're scanning shelves, use this, the 5 ingredient rule. If a product has more than 5 or 6 ingredients, it's probably not a staple. Now, exceptions exist. If it's all whole foods or tinned meals, soups, sauces, fine. But if your daily food looks like a science experiment, that's a warning sign. Here are calm pantry staples that usually pass the test. Oats, rice, lentils, chickpeas, beans, tinned fish, tinned tomatoes, olive oil, peanut butter, the real kind, peanuts and salt, eggs, frozen veg, good UHT milk if you tolerate it. That's not influencer food, that's historically what people lived on, and it works. Now let's talk about the banned in Europe thing properly, because this is where people get emotional and lose the plot. The EU versus UK reality check, no panic, just clarity. When you see banned in Europe, it doesn't always mean it's definitely in your bread today. It means different regulators made different decisions, sometimes based on different interpretations of uncertainty and risk. Here's a clean way to think about it. The EU often takes a precautionary stance. If we can't be confident it's safe, we reduce or remove it. Other places sometimes allow it while data is debated, or they limit it in specific ways. And in the UK, it can get even messier because rules can differ between Northern Ireland and Great Britain depending on the category and how regulations are applied. So rather than arguing about politics, here's the survival question. Do you want your emergency pantry to be built on ultra-processed food engineering, or on real ingredients that your body recognizes? Now, I'll give you one example that's often mentioned because it helps you understand how to read labels. Case study ingredient. Bright white, bright colour foods. There are certain additives that show up in foods purely to change their appearance, brighter, whiter, shinier, more fresh. That's not there to feed you, that's there to sell you. So here's a simple survival rule. If the food is aggressively bright and it's not natural, it's probably aggressively engineered. Now, I'm not going to sit here and diagnose you through a screen, but I will say this: many people feel better when they reduce the amount of ultra-processed additive-heavy food they rely on. Label scan, look for colours, look for flavourings, look for long strings of additives you can't pronounce. Look for sweeteners stacked with low-calorie marketing. Look for snack foods that claim to be healthy while reading like a lab report. And if you want the simplest upgrade ever, choose the boring version. Plain oats instead of colourful cereal, dark chocolate instead of candy, natural yogurt instead of rainbow yogurt, whole foods instead of high protein bars that are basically desserts. Now we're going to get more tactical because the next section is about the exact foods people stockpile that quietly mess them up. Point 1. Survival snacks that crush you. Let's talk about the classic prepper cupboard. Cereal bars, crisp, biscuits, sweets, energy drinks, instant noodles. They're convenient, they're cheap, they last ages, but they train your body for spikes and crashes, and a crash in normal life is annoying. A crash during a disruption is dangerous. That's when you're short-tempered, you make sloppy decisions, you can't be bothered cooking, you reach for more junk, you spiral. So here's the swap. Instead of survival snacks, build a steady snack system. Nuts, fruit, fresh or dried, without a load of extreme stuff. Oats you can make anywhere with hot water. Tinned fish or oatcakes. Peanut butter on toast. Cheese if you tolerate it. Homemade flapjack with real ingredients. Oats, butter, honey. And if you're thinking, Charlie, I'm not making flapjack when the wind's ripping my fence down, that's why we prep before the chaos, which is the perfect time to drop this in. I've got my Charlie Survival Amazon kit list linked in the description. It's the stuff I actually use for preparedness, including pantry basics, food storage tubs, label makers. If you want to build a clean, organized pantry without overthinking it, check out the link in the description after this video. It will save you time. Point 2, the diet trap, sweeteners and ultra processed. When people try to be healthier, they often swap sugar for ultra-processed diet products. And I'm not here to demonize anyone, but here's the survival lens. If your healthy choice makes you crave more snacks, feel weirdly hungry, or messes your routine, it's not helping you. So what do you do instead? Use simple survival-friendly sweet options, honey, small amounts, fruit, yogurt with berries, plain tea, water instead of constant sweet drinks. Or just reduce sweetness overall so your taste recalibrates, because if you need constant sweetness to feel okay, that's not resilience, that's dependency. Now we're moving to the core of this video, how to rebuild your stockpile so it works for you in a disruption. Point 3, build the 30-day calm pantry. Here's the promise I made, a clean, functional pantry that fuels you through disruption. I call it the 30-day calm pantry because it reduces stress, reduces decisions, and keeps energy steady. The foundation, your real staples. Oats, rice, potatoes, pasta if you tolerate it. Protein you can store. Tinned fish, tinned beans, lentils, eggs. Frozen meat if you've got freezer space. Fats that keep you full. Olive oil, nuts, peanut butter, micronutrients, frozen veg, tinned tomatoes, fruit, flavour and morale, salt, pepper, spices, stock cubes, tea and coffee. That's it, that's a real base, the rule that makes it work. Rotation beats hoarding. Eat what you store what you eat. If you're buying survival food you never touch, you're basically creating a cupboard museum. So here's how you do it like a normal person. When you do a shop, add 2 extra items that fit the calm pantry rules. Once a week, do a pantry meal night where you eat from stores. Replace what you use. That way you're always stocked without dropping $1,000 in one go. Now, final piece. This is the part that most people skip, and it's why their pantry fails when they actually need it. Point 4, the no decision system. In a crisis, decision fatigue will ruin you, so build a pantry that reduces choices. Pick 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, and repeat. That repetition is not boring, it's stability, and once you've got stability, you can add variety. What to ditch, what to keep, what to swap. So here's the simple survival truth. Long shelf life doesn't automatically mean good prep. Ultra-processed prep foods can make you crash, crave and underperform. The clean stockpile is boring and that's why it works. What I'll ditch as daily staples. Constant snack bars, fizzy diet drinks as a routine. Bright engineered sweets as everyday food. Cupboards built on convenience alone. What I keep. Real staples with whole foods and short ingredient lists. Protein you can rely on, fats that keep you full, and a rotation plan that prevents waste. If you want my exact setup, go check out my Charlie Survival Amazon kit list in the description. That's the stuff I've tested and actually used. And comment below if you want me to make a follow-up video where I build a 30-day UK emergency food plan on a budget, like a real shopping list, real meals, no influencer nonsense. Hit like if you gained something from this video and subscribe if you're building calm readiness in a chaotic world. If you enjoyed this one, you enjoyed this one on screen now, all about what's happening in Greenland and how it affects us all. Click it and I'll see you over there.